I was watching this or listening to this Huberman podcast on meditation, and he's talking about the different types, and it's some, focus on your inner experience, and some are on the outer experience or your perception of the inner or the outer. And he was saying that when you have a really strong interoception, sometimes that can get in the way. And it's true. It is true. Sometimes, like, you can feel things too much. So if you are uncomfortable or nervous and you are feeling all the stuff really strongly in your body, that is not always a great thing. But we can take our awareness and move it outward as well. So we're just going to play with this idea of bringing our awareness really deep into ourselves and then taking it really out as far as we can go and just going back and forth with that. So, yes, it's Halloween and I am in my death mask. Let's start with just breathing. So this morning in my class, or I was also thinking about the sort of growing and shrinking with the breath. So on the inhale, we're getting bigger, we're expanding outward, and on the exhale, we're coming back into ourselves. So that would be kind of an insty way of feeling that outer to inner in sensation. But let's actually start with our eyes closed, which I don't do very often. I'll probably open mine a few times just to check the room and see if I need to let anyone else in. But taking ourselves into our bodies. And one thing that on the Huberman podcast, when he's like, people who are really good at interoception can feel and count their heartbeat accurately. And I have to say, for me, that's incredibly easy. I've spent a lot of time in there. I usually do my breath work in feeling my heartbeat, so that I'm usually, when I'm doing coherent breathing, I'm inhaling for 6 beats of my heart and then exhaling for 6 beats of my heart. So I'm usually working my breath work in alignment with my heartbeat. So maybe we can play with that just for a few minutes. Maybe you don't feel your heartbeat. That's totally fine. Maybe you can just feel the breath wave coming in and going out. So let's just come in for a landing with ourselves and bring ourselves in. So the interoception is the sensation of what we feel within our body, the things going on inside, feeling the temperature of our body, feeling our heartbeat, feeling our breath wave, feeling even our guts more moving around, feeling sensation. That is all interoception. That is the inner feeling and awareness of the body. So let's go with that. If you can sense your heartbeat and you want to go with some nice coherent breathing, like a 5 or a 6 count of beats for inhale and exhale is a great way to really regulate so that you're neither up or down with the coherent breathing. That means that our heartbeat, our digestion, and our breathing are coming into a very neutral place where we are neither upregulated and excited or really downregulated and maybe like more sleepy. So coming into that medium place. If you can't feel your heartbeat, then maybe just count for yourself. And if breathing to a count feels uncomfortable, then don't do that at all and just breathe however it feels good. Lots of options. Feeling what's happening below the surface of your skin. There's an intruder in my space, just on the edge. What are you looking for? That's exteroception, being aware of what's happening on the outside. So as we've come into a landing into ourselves with our breath, And this is just sort of a conceptual feeling practice. Find what feels like your center to yourself, and then just bring yourself into that place. If that's confusing, maybe think of midline coming into like the central channel of your body. That's another way. So central channel, if we really went maybe lower down Tian, somewhere down here, creative space could be our center, but it could be different from person to person. So let yourself tune into where you feel like your center is. We're not trying to lock it up or hold it still. We're giving it our awareness and allowing it movement if that feels good. So micro movement is welcome. You can be laying down, you could be seated, you could be even standing up. And we're not trying to shut off our body. We're just trying to come into awareness inside of our body. Tuning into the central channel or tuning into whatever we feel like our center is. I mean, maybe it's up in your head, maybe it's in your heart, maybe it's in your guts. Allow yourself to draw in, like through awareness, just coming in as if you're calling any parts of yourself that have run off into the future or the past or thinking about this or that or planning, calling those parts back and just letting them nestle into the center with you without having to change, just calling back yourself, calling back your energy, calling back your own experience of being you and just centering it within yourself. Maybe there are ripples and waves of movement in that. Feeling into the inside of the back space of your body. And the inside of the front space, and then find yourself right in between the two, the front and the back. Is there a way to get into that center with your awareness? Finding the midline between your right and your left. And finding something that feels like center between the upper and the lower of your body. And it may be right in the middle, or it may be down, or it may be up. It's fine. Whatever feels natural to you. Let's just add an ah sound. Like the ah can kind of be like like a sigh of relief, like I'm coming back in. If it feels uncomfortable to make vocal sound, feel free just to come in with a but it's like letting go. Like a sigh of relief. Here I am. I'm inside of my own body. And I can come into that. So landing in our interoception, landing into our central channel, landing inside. Your breathing is coming and going, the movement, the life energy of your body is happening. We're not shutting anything down. You can micro move. You can even macro move if that feels good. We're just bringing the awareness in. Bringing the awareness into center. Centering in the center. And then seeing if you feel like you've gotten in there and you feel like you are finding some kind of center, can you go deeper? Is there a layer deeper than that? Is there a layer within center in awareness? letting go of whatever's the outside world and just coming and nestling into the inner experience of being you in your awareness. You could even, if it's difficult to find a sense of center, you could take a hand on the front, a hand on the back of your belly or your chest or anywhere just to help find through sensation from the outside to help you find the inside. That is permissible. Everything's permissible, any way that it works for you. If you feel like you're in there and you've gone one layer deeper, is there a layer deeper than that to go into? For me, when I consider going deeper, when I feel like I'm already in my center, I sort of feel myself, it's almost like I'm getting denser and coming more in. I'm allowing myself to, everything that was radiating outward, everything that was reaching is just coming back in, softening. So I feel like I almost come in and back. It's like in, down, back. Almost like a torus, the Torus feeling of that internal movement. Your experience may be very different. If you're still at the surface, just ask yourself, can I go in a little deeper? Can I go another layer deeper? And if you're already deep, ask yourself the same thing. What's underneath this layer? Can I go in deeper, into center, into deep awareness of sensation within my body, but maybe just taking it even deeper. So maybe the sort of surface area sensation starts to quiet, and the deeper, deeper sensation within your body starts to become more online. But it might also just be that you're in kind of like a vacuum, like the spatial vacuum where you're just in. So however it is totally fine. Ahs or oohs, anytime, any kind of breath sound. Ooh, just to help you tune into yourself. So I'm using the ooh, like a kind of puffed O, letting my cheeks do whatever they want, allowing my face to relax, and have some movement maybe in my tongue, throat, and voice and lips. Ooh. Feeling into that vibration within my own body. Letting the sound come and go in whatever way feels nourishing to you. Just resting in the relative silence of your own experience, resting in the relative stillness, even if there's movement, even if there's sound. If you were a single-celled creature, letting yourself rest right in the nucleus of that cell. Nothing to do. relaxing into being, if that feels good. So, in the interest of going also to the outer world, from this place deep inside in our interoception, start to let your awareness rise to the surface of your body. So maybe it's the superficial fascia just underneath your skin. Maybe you're coming to the skin level. Maybe letting the awareness come towards the front of your body or to the surface of the back body. Letting your awareness sense whatever's around you as far, without necessarily opening your eyes, but we could feel into whatever we're contacting with our weight, whether we're sitting or laying down, contacting the floor, letting our awareness make contact and feeling into that and feeling how fluid that is. It often is going to shift around. So I might be aware of my ankle and then my toes and then maybe my shin, or it's the inside of back of my hamstrings or something. Aware of my hands, my thumbs as I'm twiddling my thumbs. Aware of my clothing on my body. So we're starting to let the interoception move to the surface. And inviting in any kind of micro movement with that. Easier to feel things when they're moving. So feel free to allow that in. And you could be laying down, you could be seated, whatever feels good. I've done a lot of movement today, so being more still is working for me. If you feel like you need to get more movement, then go for it in any large, small way. And I have this image of like a snail and their little eye stalk, like the if you go to touch a snail, their eye stalks are going to go in. But imagining like when that little eye stalk comes out to see the world. So allowing yourself to kind of experience the world in the way a little snail eye stalk comes out. So it's just starting to make a bridge out. And think about that. That's the eye, right? And it's also on a, I mean, I don't know the deep anatomy of a snail, but it's a very mobile thing on that stalk, right? Mobile, fluid, and juicy. So allowing ourselves to come into experiencing the world, maybe slowly opening our eyes, and even allowing our fingers to be like those little snail eye stalks. There's a lot of things in the sea that kind of have parts that come out and go back in. There's some things in nature too, like a fern, some of the ferns that unroll and roll up or pull away. So allowing ourselves to curiously start to come out of ourselves into noticing the world around us, maybe visually, maybe letting our body parts radiate outward, and then maybe come back in. So it's not like we have to go out and stay there. It's like we're starting with this dance of coming from the inner toward the outer, and then coming back to rest within yourself whenever you need to. So we're just offering our body and our awareness this experience of radiating out and then radiating in, coming right back. If it feels like, oh my God, I really just want to go out to the very far reach edges of my awareness, go for it. And if you want to stay there, that's fine too. And also, it may feel like, oh, I just got inside here and now I really want to stay. So if you're feeling like nestling into yourself without much foray into the outer world, that's fine too. Just come to the surface and then take it back down. So that could be enough exteroception. It could be just feeling the air on your skin or feeling the clothing on your skin. Or it could be vast and spacious, where you're starting to, maybe in your awareness, maybe in your hearing, your auditory field, maybe in your visual field, start to take in all the space around you, all the possibility of what's going on. Not making it up, not creating stories necessarily, but just taking in the sounds, the smells, the sights, feeling what it's like to radiate outward and then to come back in. Right? Sometimes we want to feel that vastness and that spaciousness and that expansiveness. And even like when we've spent some time moving back and forth. And probably a lot of people in this room have already spent some time doing that. Then we can be sort of in both places at the same time, right? We can kind of be experiencing this outer world and also be very deep within ourselves. So if you have that kind of access, just play and notice, this is where I am now. What's happening now? Where am I? And what is the desire in my organism? What feels nourishing and delicious with this dance of awareness between exteroception, the outer world, and interoception, the inner world. And even those two words are kind of scientific, like interoception, exteroception, perception, can just be the fluidity of my movement outwards and my movement inwards, growing with the breath and shrinking with the breath, taking in the breath, taking in the outer world, and exhaling, letting go of part of myself on that exhale, right? I take it in, I digest, I breathe it, I shift it, and then I breathe something else out, right? I exhale something different than what I inhaled. I have commingled, right? So this is what's happening on all of these levels often. So letting yourself play with that, I'm going to actually come off my ball and go into more movement, and then going to add some sound. Yeah, so let yourself play with this in any way that feels interesting and delightful. No need to force anything, just going out and in. We're going to start with, hold on. We're going to start with Michelle Aiello, and then we're going to move into Jeff Gersh. So allowing yourself kind of to find that little snail eye opening up, taking in, and then coming back into the self. I just like that image right now. As I drink in the water, I can feel it moving down into my body, right? I can feel the temperature of that water. Allowing yourself to bridge to the environment in any way that feels good, and then come back into yourself. Maybe you're reaching out into the world on the kinesthetic level, right? On the feeling body movement level. Maybe on the visual level. Maybe on the auditory level. And likely on a combo platter, the buffet style. So allow yourself to play. Make it interesting for you. Make it fun or delicious. Like inviting in a sense of wonder with this dance of awareness, partnering with the deep inner places and the far and wide outer places. If you have plans, let go of the plans and just be in the impulses instead, letting whatever is interesting arise. Don't go on a big planning, mapping journey. Just go on a experiential, I don't know what's going to happen next journey. So we can really be in the wonder of it. And if you feel like you know where you're going, then go somewhere different. Slow it down, speed it up, spiral. Totally different music. It's Jeff Gersh, Ambient Fields. It's almost like you're tasting what's out there and letting that come in and then seeing how it lands. Just gonna slowly turn that down. My Exteroception has gone on to include the cat. That's gotten very involved today. The pea pod. Letting yourself come in for a landing in whatever way feels good now. There's a lot of activities happening here today. So lots of chance to work with the outer, with what's happening in the outer world. The little cat. And the invitation also is to sometimes see, can it be a different experience? Like if the cat comes into my world while I'm in this space, like can I interact with the cat in a different way? And something, can it be new for me, right? Like what's happening now? It's the same with people in your space or anything else that's going on. It's like it just gives you more chance to be spacious in how you interact. Oh, she's gonna go attack the mouse. Yeah. And wondering like, oh, is it annoying or is it funny or how do you respond to things? Like, well, how does it come in for a landing? So I'm going to end the live stream.